transition over. Let's do this. Okay. Hello. How's everybody going? First of all, I need a audio check. Can people hear us? Do we sound good? Can you see us? Are we okay? Hello, Draskia. Thank you so much. Hello, Tiltify. Wait, I'm Tiltify. What's going on? I'm not really Tiltify. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this amazing conversation I'm so honored to have today. I'm Lou, Director of Community Experience here at Tiltify, and we're here to celebrate and to enjoy the company of two of these most amazing human beings in the Tiltify community, StevenSpohn, COO of Able Gamers Charity, and Lilsimsie, also known as Kayla. Thank you both so much for joining us. We're going to learn more about Able Gamers today. We're going to learn more about Kayla. We're going to talk about fundraising, all sorts of stuff. Great. So, oh yeah, sound. I heard sound exclamation point. Mocha, does that mean you can hear us? So far, I haven't heard anybody says, check your sound. Sounds great. Good. Awesome.
I like my chats. It's like sound. What about it? What
sound?
Right, and then we go on for 10 minutes without even knowing what's going on.
Oh, it's the best thing we could have ever said. Too bad you'll never hear it.
It was epic. It would have changed your life, but you couldn't hear me. Fantastic. Of course, you can check the commands in chat to find out more and link to opportunities to learn more about Able Gamers. But Steven, welcome. It's a special day for you. We're on the eve of a birthday, right?
No, my birthday's not till October. I don't know.
I thought it was tomorrow. I must have got my.
Got you.
Oh, you jerk!
You scared him.
I'm like, oh man!
Like, oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, I officially turn old tomorrow. So yeah.
Oh well, I'm way ahead of you on that, so that'll work. So tell us about what you wanted for your birthday, and did you get your birthday wish?
I did. About a year ago, in the middle of the pandemic, I basically decided that for your 30th birthday, which I know for a lot of you out there who are barely over 21, cough, Kayla, 40 is literally going to be like 12 decades from now. But, when you turn 40, you're supposed to do something big. You're supposed to jump out of a building or a perfectly good airplane, and I couldn't do either of those because of the pandemic. And I had to figure out something really cool to do. And, the year previously, I had tweeted out like, "Hey, internet, I've tried to get The Rock's attention for a couple of years now, haven't been able to do it. Can you help me out here?" And the internet just retweeted like crazy and started vouching for me not being a total jerk. And they're mostly right. So, he ended up following me and we got a good conversation out of it. And that was really cool. But how do you top that? And I was like, you know what? What if we raise $1 million for something that I've been championing for 14 years now? And so I decided to turn my birthday wish into raising $1 million for people with disabilities, and so other people can enjoy video games just like we all do.
That's amazing. So $1 million already raised this year, and Kayla, you were a part of that, like a significant chunk. Even recently, you raised over $100,000 for Able Gamers. Just last month or the month before last, right?
Yeah, back in August.
What the heck? Like, how do you do that?
I don't know. That day, it was my birthday, and I said, for my birthday, I would appreciate if you helped me help Steve for his birthday. And well, it looks like my community said absolutely, and they helped me raise a lot of money that day.
That's amazing. So you've already raised $1 million, Steven, and with the help of amazing folks like Kayla. Tomorrow, last week you put out the call for heroes. You did the literal call of Gondor for heroes, and you have
Gondor, yes.
It is amazing. It's the who's who of people who totally kick butt at fundraising on Tiltify. It's an amazing list of folks. What's the goal for tomorrow? What launches tomorrow?
I actually ended up having a conversation with Kayla and my other very close friends who ended up being my champions in this and said, we did it once. What do you think if we turn this into a year-long thing? And Kayla screamed in my ear and said, let's do it. And I was like, okay. She literally did. And we decided to make this annual thing because here's, the unsexy part of the business is it takes money to run an organization, and sometimes that gets lost in everything we do. We see smiling pictures of children, and we see feel good stories about how this person got a controller or that person got to go to a cool class, but we forget that there's people that have to be paid. There's a house that has to be paid for the all the equipment to be housed in. There's a headquarters outside Washington D.C. These are not sexy things to talk about, but they all take money, and they're how Able Gamers continues to operate. So we had to figure out a way to keep bringing in the money a year over year. And what happens if my disability gets me tomorrow? What happens if Kayla, God forbid, gets hit by a falling Pikachu out of the sky? Like, you never know. Like, it could happen. And so we needed to make sure that it would keep going beyond us. And how we did that was we called on our friends. We called Imperial, Bloody Faster, and Jambo, and Ashley, and Kayla, and myself, and we made this Voltron like team of we're going to go out, get our streamer friends to get involved as well. And now it's going to be a thing that gets to keep going and helping people with disabilities year after year, even if suddenly a Pikachu falls out of the sky.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And Kayla, please be careful of falling Pokemon.
I'm constantly on the lookout now.
We adore your streams, and we want to keep you safe and strong for all of the amazing causes and that you fundraise for. So let's just talk real quick about Able Gamers in case anybody in the chat has not been paying attention at all to anything on Twitch or on Tiltify or anything.
Speaking for the last 20 minutes, all I say is nonsense. So why would anybody pay attention to me?
But Able Gamers provides well, first of all, they're advocates for people with disabilities. I mean, removing those barriers that may come in front of them, and then definitely also offering technologies that would be assistive for folks who have a disability that would cause issue with them with some sort of mobility. But there's also something else that you do is you offer consultation to developers and publishers and game manufacturers to see how accessibility options can be applied to the work that they're doing. Yeah, did I cover it? Was there anything else that's currently under the wheelhouse of Able Gamers?
There's a lot of, actually. We had to make up, me and the champions made up 2 documents full of talking points because there's so much that Able Gamers does, and it's hard to capture it all in a very succinct manner. And the children and the smiling videos that we have, those are the ones that capture the most attention, and everybody knows that's what we do. But a lot of people don't know we've got 3 patents of brand new controllers that were never invented before us that are out there in the world now, free of charge. We didn't patent them and lock them down where nobody can do them. They're out there on Thingiverse. You can print them right now. We came up with the controller with AT makers where you can plug a wheelchair into an Xbox and turn it into a controller. These are things that we did just because it's good for the world. We have our engineering department. We have our user research department, which comes up with all kinds of facts and figures on how you can game with a disability, what the challenges are, what the barriers are. They figure out all the ways that people can get around those challenges and be able to keep staying in these games. And then there is the professional development where we're out there talking to all of your favorite developers, telling them, hey, here's how you have to design better so that more people can play. And really, that's what we're here to talk about is, we all love video games, right? Whether you're disabled, whether you're not, whether you identify with a disability. Some people have a disability and aren't ready to identify as having some. So, whether or not you're at that point in life or not, according to our user research, there's more than a 70% chance at some point in your life you will have a disability. It may not be permanent. It might be you fall and crack your rib and you have to walk around on a crutch. It may be you have a Pikachu fall out of the sky and break your foot. Who knows? There's all kinds of things that could happen. And when that does, you may need this kind of assistive technology. So there's a lot of things that we do that don't necessarily get a lot of that coverage. And that's, always something kind of sad for me because we have so many good people, over a dozen working at Able Gamers now. And again, it's really thanks to people like Kayla that those people are able to eat food and keep doing good for the world.
That you touched on something that I think is important, that I think that when we're talking about charity and fundraising, people always like to know, what is the scope? Who is the audience that this supports? I mean, would you like estimate like how many like this maybe just disabled gamers in North America? Do you have like a sense of like the scope of folks who would be able to benefit from, the work that Able Gamers is doing?
It's almost like it's in a video I recently had on Twitter. So there's more than 46 million potential players in America alone, over 7 million in Canada, and the number just continues to climb from there. The people around the world who potentially are disabled who want to play video games are numerous. And it wasn't long ago, within the last 10 years, that people didn't even realize that remapping buttons on your keyboard was an important thing. And now we know that there's millions of people who need this kind of help. And I really feel like, that's I feel like I'm taking Lou's job here, but I feel like Kayla, that's part of what called you, was just realizing that it wasn't just two or three people, that there's a lot out there to help, right?
A lot of people out there to help. And even, I mean, I see it in my Twitch chat when I do fundraisers for Able Gamers, and people talk about how important it is to them and how much it means to them to see us doing this. And also people that maybe didn't even realize that Able Gamers exists and could benefit from the work that you do, you know? So it means a lot to me to get to help spread the word and help talk about Able Gamers to a bigger scale of people, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I always like anytime the especially people who are doing Spawn together, they'll talk about what I do or what me and Kayla do. Although I do appreciate you, Chad, who just called me and Kayla a power duo. Apparently we're Batman and Robin now.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, get the fan art going. So it's thanks to each and every one of the people who donate to us that we're able to do this. It's really not Kayla. It's really not me. It's all of them out there who are doing the donating, who are choosing not to get the pepperoni pizza, but instead give their $20 to charity. They're the real heroes here.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, there's a special sauce that I think both of you have created to create communities that rally around such amazing causes like Able Gamers. Or what's the secret? Like, how do you curate a community that is capable of achieving $1 million for Able Gamers and likely another $1 million before the end of the year?
That's all you, Kayla.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of it maybe has to do with like fostering a compassionate community from the beginning, right? Like I think that we all lead by example with what we do online. And I like to think that the people that watch my content online are like me and want to do good in the world. And I'm really lucky to have so many people who are so generous that are part of my Twitch community, that want to help people and want to donate to charity and want to do this. But I don't know how I did it. I'm really lucky though.
Yeah, I think there's some luck involved for sure, but it's the thing of it is we are all reflections of the people around us, right? So my favorite quote ever from ironically from Fast and the Furious is my favorite quote in life is who you choose to be around you tells you who you really are. And I think that is part of the community is Kayla's community is a reflection of her. My community is a reflection of me. And so for every person out there, you don't have to be a content creator. You can look around your friends and family and whoever it is you're choosing to be around you, that's who you are. And so when you see a generous community, they're just orbiting around somebody who's also generous. And that's how you bring these people together.
Absolutely.
No, you nailed it. That's the easy question, and I always and it's the same thing. Like you create a genuine, authentic, wholesome, and honest community, and you don't settle for anything less, and you get what happens here, what we're talking about here, and I'm always in awe and honor to be around folks who are diligent about doing that. So thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Steven, for bringing forth a community of hope. Really, like this last year and a half has shown me that there's a ton of good people out there who are ready to make change. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, there's a ton of good people, and I think some people get the word wholesome and community kind of mixed up, because if you ever watch my content, I like making adult rated jokes. If you watch Kayla, she steals men in Sims all the time. all the time. So
You should see
and
how many gravestones I have in my Sims front yard.
she buries people by the dozens. Like she hires
Literally.
trucks. Oh. So like we are just people who like to have a good time. And sometimes I think that people confuse like they think about wholesome like, oh, you're a nun and you never make jokes and you never have fun. It's like, no, we have fun all the time. We're just good hearted. That's the only thing.
No, like if you haven't followed Steven yet on Twitter, Steven is very funny. I'm wondering if you can give us a sneak peek into what today's nightly question is going to be. I know you were working on it earlier. Can you give us a lead on what tonight's question is going to be?
A lead.
Yeah.
Tonight's question is about productivity and what you would do if a Pikachu fell out of the sky.
I don't think that's the question, but okay, fine. Fine. Amazing. So, Kayla, tell me a little bit about your journey into content creation. Like, how
Okay.
did you get to where you are?
So I was always big into YouTube when I was a kid. Like I watched so many people on YouTube. And when I got into high school, I was like, I could probably do that too. Like I watched all these people play The Sims online, and I was like, I play The Sims. I could play The Sims in a video. And so I started making YouTube videos when I was like 16. And I kind of just kept doing it every day. And now that I still do it every day. So
And that's great. That's awesome. It's not. That's just your story, your path. You decided
Yeah.
to do something. You got there. That's amazing. Steven, what is so you're CEO, COO. What is a day in the life of Steven, and how do you organize and operate with Able Gamers?
Listen, I wake up in the morning just like everyone else and put on my pants with a team of people. It's something that I've done for a long time. Now, my day in my life is pretty much reaching out and getting to talk to people like Kayla. It's my literal job is to go out on the internet and find good-hearted people. I mean that's literally my job. My real title is director of development, and what that means is essentially that there's a whole lot of people who work at Able Gamers and do various jobs such as community, and my executive director who founded the whole thing, and they get to deal with things like Excel spreadsheets and emails, and I get to go out and find people who not only are good people, but they have good hearts in the right places. They have the ability to rally others. And sometimes that's 3 people, sometimes that's 70 billion. It just depends on who it is. So my day to day is a lot of talking to people and really expressing what it is to be disabled and what it is to have to go around the challenges that we do in the disabled life. People don't think about chronic illness and chronic pain as these stop measures where you have to stop your life to go and change what you're doing on a dime. But sometimes you have to, depending on your circumstances. So this is kind of the situation we're in, where we have these communities that we built because they're awesome people, but each and every one of those communities also has people who suddenly aren't there anymore because their pain level was too high, or because they just didn't have the ability to get up and come watch the stream, or to participate in the internet, or really life for the day. And it's for those people that we continue to do this every single day.
That's amazing. I guess like my next question is moot because you just answered it. Like, what is the thing that motivates the both of you? Good job, you covered it. You know what? I'll just shut off my camera and you, Kayla, just keep chatting. Good. You got it?
I'll do the interview. Let's go.
You don't need me. You guys are good. But no, like what is you mentioned it, Steven. What motivates you? But Kayla, what motivates you to do the work that you do?
I am so motivated by my community, I think, and knowing how much good we can do together is what I get so excited about doing things like charity events on stream, because it makes my life. Like I feel so grateful to be in a position where I can do this kind of thing. Like I can come on the internet and raise $100,000 in a day for charity. I am so lucky to be in a position like that where I can come in and do something that amazing. And like I like live for that, every day I want to wake up and do more things like that. And obviously, like Steven said, I'm very motivated by wanting to help people. I mean, that's why I do what I do on Twitch for all of the charities that I raise money for. So
I have a question for chat, and so I think we probably have lots of Kayla's folks and lots of Steven's fans. But what does it mean for you to be a member of either of these communities? And just put it in the chat, because I want to see what people say. What does it mean to them? What does it mean to be a member of the community, and what does it mean to you? I mean, do you want to take a stab at that, either of you? Like, what does it mean? What do you think it means to be a part of these communities that you've curated and created?
I think that it is a safe space for a lot of people. And I think it's a really good thing to have like a group of people that you can hang out with every day on the internet is a really nice thing to have. And I know that I rely very heavily on that. I mean, especially a lot of us this past year and a half in the pandemic haven't really gone out much. And I don't really have many friends locally, like most all of my people are online. And so having a safe space like that every day where I can go and hang out with people, and these are the people that I trust, and we get along so well, and we hang out together every day. I mean, to do things like charity events, but also just to hang out and like play The Sims and kill people sometimes. It's just nice. You just want to mess around sometimes, and it's a nice thing to have. So
okay, so Kayla, I want you to do me a favor. At one point in time, we'll get you a copy of what's happening in chat. I don't know if you're seeing this. If you're feeling sad or depressed, or you need a pick me up, read what's being. I can't keep up with it. Like, I'm not surprised, but I can't keep up with it. This is the kind of communities that I love to see, and these kind of communities that people who use Tiltify create on a regular basis. And that's what motivates me. Is I want every person who creates a community using Tiltify and doing good in the world to have this kind of love kind of just reflected back to you. Steven, you said it perfectly. We reflect, the people who are around us are reflections of ourselves. That's amazing. That is fantastic. Okay, well, we'll shift gears a little bit though. All right. So what scares you? Like, let's bring it down. Let's get vulnerable for a second. Steven, what scares you besides falling Pikachus from the sky?
Spiders.
snakes.
Yeah, snakes is a good one.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Existentially, I would say that my fear stems from the same reason that I became a content creator, which I think probably echoed through Kayla, and she can certainly speak to that. But it's something I've heard from a lot of content creators is most of us got into this business because we wanted to not feel alone. And then we discovered that we could not feel alone while making other people also not feel alone. And that kind of amplifies how good you feel about yourself, because you make other people also realize they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can relate to that a lot. Like when I first started making YouTube videos when I was like 16, my dad had just been diagnosed with cancer, and he was in the hospital a lot. And I was by myself a lot with my siblings because my parents were like back and forth. He had a bone marrow transplant and like all this stuff. So they were gone a lot. And I started like playing games a lot more when I was younger as like a distraction, and sort of looking to that online community there to find friends, because I didn't really have that many at school. And like, I think that a lot of us probably relate to that in some capacity, where like the internet became a home, when you needed people. And I'm really grateful for that.
So internet friends, real or not?
Absolutely
I know the
real.
answer from both of you, but real or not? Internet friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very real.
Very real?
There's not a difference.
No, there's not a difference.
I think that stems from the stigma of two things. I know that in the gaming industry, it's like gaming was always, I always laugh at my mom. She always said it was going to be such a waste of time. Stop wasting your time with video games. And now I get to look back and go, ah. Go ahead, Steven.
I think the question is always funny to me because, that was a thing back in the 80s, don't go talking to strangers on the internet. I understand why back in the day that was a thing, but nowadays, who cares where you meet somebody?
Yeah, it almost feels a bit naive to assume that people you meet online couldn't be a real friend. I like feel bad that they never had those sort of connections with people, because I feel very lucky to have met people that I've met online. So it's kind of sad that they haven't had a chance to,
Yeah. Totally agreed. I mean, there certainly is a physical thing that you definitely miss out on by having like the worst part about having internet friends as your primary source of friends is that you can't go give them a hug whenever you want to, and you're not really able to just sit down in silence and watch a sunset or something like that. But there's so
Yeah,
many pros that outweigh that. I mean, most of my
absolutely.
internet friends, they know more about me than the ones that I've met in real life too.
For sure.
Well, and you have more freaking access to your friends online, and so that makes you feel not alone. I know I check in every day on see how my friends are doing on Twitter if they're brave enough to share what they're feeling, and then
Absolutely.
and sometimes you're like, oh, I better check in on that person because they're being transparent, or maybe they're signaling in a way that I need to connect with them. So
My favorite
um,
part is always to challenge someone who says something like that. And whenever someone says to me, "Well, they're not like your real friends," and I'm like, "Cool, what's the difference?" And challenge them to tell me, and no one can ever do it. Oh, well,
Yeah.
they're there for you when you're sad. Oh, so are my online friends. Oh, well, they send me things. Oh, so do my other friends. Well, you get to spend time with them. I spend time with mine too. Keep going. What else you got?
I love it. No, I think it's another layer upon how we build community online and how we get to the point where we have a community that will support and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars just because they're a reflection of you, because you care about it. They're like, oh, well, heck, I care about it too. So let's do this together. And that kind of mobilization of good is, it's just delicious. It's just something that I just love. I just absolutely adore it. Um, so this one, I'm curious about this one. There's an obvious answer, I think,
Okay.
maybe for one of the two of you. But what is an achievement that you are most proud of?
Go ahead, Taylor.
Okay. Oh no.
You're on the
Um,
spot. Good luck.
not to like, I know we're here for charity stuff, but I really do think that the amount of money that I've raised for charity on my Twitch channel is probably like my greatest accomplishment, and it will be for the rest of my life. I mean, I've my community has raised like $900,000 total on Tiltify in the last few years. And that's like unbelievable. I can't wrap my head around that, and I'm so grateful for it. Like I just think that is the coolest thing I'll ever do. So that is my proudest achievement. Um,
That's great.
That's a good one.
Good one. Yeah.
That's why I've been trying to talk to you, Kayla. It's because I think it's an amazing achievement, and we're honored to be able to be a part of that journey. It's amazing. Steven, do you have something that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I've never really done anything cool.
Great. Next question.
Great. Next question. No, honestly, there are lots of obvious answers like raising $1 million or knowing Ryan Reynolds or whatever. But those
yeah.
are not. But those are not what I consider an achievement. Actually, my favorite achievement is there are 3 couples who have met through being in my community. That
Oh,
that
wow.
That's
is
so cool.
that is honestly because it doesn't matter if I stop doing this tomorrow. Those 3 relationships happened only because I chose to be vulnerable and get on Twitch, and maybe people would make fun of me or maybe not. But those 3 relationships are now seeded and started because of that, and that to me is just beautiful.
Now that is amazing.
That feels like, I mean, not that raising millions of dollars is not an incredible feat, but that feels so tangible. Like it
Yeah.
feels so impactful because of the love that you've helped facilitate. You're a facilitator of love, Steven. That's your
Putting that
that's
on
your
my
new
title, my resume.
There you go.
Yeah, I
Twitter
want
bio.
on your Twitter bio tomorrow. That also facilitator of love. That's phenomenal. So let's, like, if we were to put like money on it. Sorry, I usually wear a hat with my headset, so my hair is doing like the creep. So I have like the 1980s pompadour thing going on. You're welcome. Everybody who's watching, it's totally about me. But if we were to guess, like, when do you think you're going to hit that million? I want to say you hit it by November. I think you're gonna hit it by November. Especially if Kayla gets on it. Do you hear this, Kayla's community? $200,000 in one day. I want to see that.
I wouldn't doubt that Kayla could do that by herself, but the million, I don't know. I've had some people saying that they think we could hit 5 million this year, and it's like I can't even fathom those amount of monies. It's a lot, but I can tell you that just from the champions alone, and from the few people that have confirmed that they're in on this, and it hasn't again even started until tomorrow. We're already up to like 650,000. So, like, those are just pledges that have already come
Right.
in. So, like, we're on our way, and my hope is that as I continue to do this, the champions like Kayla, she'll be with me on this for years to come, and we'll just be, handing over the torches. And so there'll be, layers of spawners doing this. There'll be, Kayla will have her army of Pikachu's coming forth, and
Yeah.
this is the idea, is that we're building a legacy of people helping people.
So you said spawners. Is that the nomenclature for someone to be who follows StevenSpohn?
That's my spawner. Yeah, that's my terms.
I absolutely love it. Kayla, what is your community's identifier?
I guess I always called it the Simsy squad, but someone
Simsy
recently called it the Simmies. I thought that was funny.
I like that.
I kind of use Sim Kids as well.
Sim Kids works. Simmies.
Yeah.
I like Simmies. That's fantastic.
I like
Simmies made me laugh.
It's like, I feel like we're gonna have to open up an award show for like who raises the most and spawn together. Who gets a Simmy this year?
Well, let us know if you do that. That'd be so much fun to be a part of. Absolutely, let us know if you do that. That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. All right, so let's think about future generations, future friends who would be listening to this conversation, and you can talk to them. You can tell them something now. It could be friends, family, whatever. What sort of wisdom would you pass on to them? And is there anything that you'd want them to know?
About what?
Anything. Like we're through. We're talking about anything.
Okay.
What nuggets of knowledge would you drop on future family, friends, community? I know I threw this one on you both. So Steven's waiting for you. He's like,
all right, okay,
he's like,
all right.
I gotta think about it.
Always let the lady go first. That's how I was raised. Okay. The future of wisdom to people out there. Number one, no, numbers are bullcrap. Ignore them as best you can. You are worth way more than any number will ever tell you that you're worth. Don't believe what you see on the TV and the magazines. It's all garbage. The negative voices you hear in the middle of the night, those are the demons trying to whisper in your ear and tell you lies. And whatever you hear in there, believe the opposite, because that's normally true. Understand that there are more people that you have helped in your lifetime than you will ever have the power to know. Understand that there are more people out there who care about you than you will ever realize, and realize that there is a different version of you who lives in the mind of every person you've ever met, and you're not responsible for that. So some people you're the villain, and some people you're the hero, and neither way is it your responsibility. You can only go out and be the best person that you can be every single day, and try to be the better person the next day forward.
It's like I almost knew we'd get the motivational speech from Steven.
Well, how am I supposed to top that one?
I tried to go second.
I saw someone in chat say, "Don't pluck your eyebrows." Is that fine with you?
That's pretty good too. You're like,
honestly, if I could tell my 16-year-old self one thing, it would be don't pluck your eyebrows. And maybe take care of your mental health. But
there, no, I think those are both valid. No, those are both absolutely amazing conversations. All right, so we'll move away from the existential stuff for a minute. What is the game or the show or the movie that you're most obsessed about right now?
I have no idea, Kayla. What is your favorite game? I have no idea.
Tell us.
There's this new indie game called The Sims. You might not have heard of it. Yeah, kind of into that right now, actually. So.
Oh Man, that's almost like it's like they put a chip in her brain. That's literally all she does.
Do you get like a kickback every time you say The Sims?
Yeah,
mean,
I get $1 million every time I say it. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That
What?
explains a lot.
Sims.
Oh man, I think there's a lot of cool things that are coming out on the horizon. I was just saying the other day, like I'm even losing track of like when games are coming out at
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
me too.
You know, yeah, it's I don't know if it's pandemic or what it was, but it's just like, oh, was that this year? Crap.
Yeah, well, truthfully, I started playing the new Life is Strange, the True Colors one last night. I really like it so far. I think it's really good. So I'm having fun with that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool games. I think my favorite part is always like, especially if you're a streamer. Kayla's known for The Sims, and I'm known for things like Rocket League. But if you get us away from playing things on a camera, we play completely opposite stuff.
Okay, so that's what we're looking for. What do you play when you're off camera? Like what?
I play a lot of Escape from Tarkov, which is one of the hardest shooters there is out there.
Oh my God.
But I love that game. It's a game all about making other people miserable. It's great.
Okay, kind of on a similar front, I've been playing some Dead by Daylight recently.
So in other words, Chad, just so you know, we're nice people, but we murder in the nighttime. So
Right. It's a catharsis, right? Like you need to let
Yeah.
let go somewhere, and it's better to do that in game than anywhere else. Chat, if you have any questions for Steven and Kayla, please let us know. We'll get to those. All right. So one of the things that I experience is the sheer like volume of content and like games that are available for us to play and to digest. I always end up playing the free-to-play trial demo game on the newest console. Like I buy all the games, but then I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy 14 on demo on PlayStation 5. Yeah, I'll put 300 hours into that. Why not? And then my son wants to play. He says he doesn't understand. Like when I looked at the screen, I had Space Invaders when I was a kid. And he's like, this game's boring. I'm like, this is Destiny 2. What are you talking about? This is the opposite of boring. Yeah, absolutely. The content is abundant and overwhelming and amazing.
Too many options.
Oh, here so we have Moon Shadow Elves says, what game would you want to play together, Steven, Kayla?
That's actually a really good question. I think murdering together would be fun and the opposite of what we do.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're currently caught in the same thing that almost every friendship is, where we tell each other, "Hey, do you want to play?" And then the other one doesn't answer for 24 hours. And then the other one answers and says, "When do you want to play?" And we just keep going back and forth until we die. I think it'd also be fun for our communities for us to play Let's Take Two together, because
I would love to do that.
That
would be
great.
fantastic because we're both trolls. So
yeah.
No,
I'm serious. I'd love to play that.
Yeah,
we
that'd
should
be cool.
do it.
All right.
Okay, next question. Let's see. So I could help answer this. Cindy B, how can we help raise money? Well, if you hit !Able Gamers in chat, you can head over to the Tiltify page and sign up for a campaign to raise money for Spawn Together. You could also create a regular campaign, but definitely join the fundraising events Spawn Together so that you can collaborate with all these amazing heroes to raise money for Able Gamers. Go ahead,
Don't forget
Steven.
to mention as well, like, check out all of our captain as well. Kayla is amazing, and I'm okay, but we also have some amazing, strong people who aren't here. Imperial Girl, as some of you know her, she's an amazing BIPOC creator. One of my favorites, Ashley Roboto, some of you know her from her crab dances online. She's an amazing content creator. Jambo, an up and coming, who may or may not be the niece of a super famous actor in Hollywood. We have a lot of people. Bloody Faster, if you don't know who she is, just go look online for silly comments by me. Like there's a lot of cool people out there fundraising, and you can sign up underneath your favorite creators too. So it's not underneath Spawn Together. You want to help Kayla raise that $500,000 just so she could run around the room and brag about it to me for the next year?
Yep.
Which we were in competition until she blew me out of the water. That's actually how. That's how right. No, you're not. So The funny thing about it, I was in Kayla's chat back when we really didn't know each other that well. She had been following me. She signed up, and I was so super happy to see her doing this because I had known her from Mrs. Dr. Lupo. Talks about her a lot, and that's how I knew
Mhm.
Kayla. And so she's doing her thing, raising money, and I was in her chat antagonizing her, just being like, "Haha, you're not going to raise this amount because that's what I did." And she was like, "Oh yeah," and her chat beat it in like 3 minutes, and I'm like, "Son of a fuck, gosh darn it."
That is
Oops.
the worst. Yeah, that's the best way to get shown up. Is that is you flex it for
Nice.
all the right reasons there,
Oh, my
Steven.
favorite
Very
part is
nice.
she was all just like, "Oh, did we beat your total?" I was like, "Oh my god, I swear to goodness."
Uh, that's hilarious. Okay, a question for Steven. What is an accessibility feature that you like to see in games in the future that is nowhere to be found or lacking right now? There's probably a lot you could speak to in this regard, but what's top of the list for you?
Yeah, it's right now virtual reality is so far out of the realm of possibility for most people with disabilities that it's barely worth talking about virtual reality. And I wish that they would come around to adapting these kind of features. And honestly, that's where a chunk of the money that we raise from Spawn Together goes. Is Able Gamers is working on trying to figure out how do you enjoy virtual worlds if you can't even hold the virtual headset up because it's
Right.
so heavy, or you don't have two arms that can function in the virtual world. Because if you've never done VR, you have to like stand up and jump around like you're an animated Disney figurine, and not
Mhm.
all of us can do that. And even some of us who can, it's very tiring to do so. So that's sort of what we're trying to work on now, is figure out how do you exist in that world. And hopefully together we'll start figuring that out by picking the brains of some very, very smart humans.
Well, and I think that we have at least 400, almost 500 people in chat right now. It's like you advocate for that, like you support, you know, you support this call for making gaming more accessible. Like it starts with a groundswell, just like Able Gamers was. Able Gamers started out small, but then because of people like Steven came into the picture, people like Kayla, it becomes something bigger and change happens. And so great question, but that means that you have to also use your voice to support
Mhm.
those opportunities. Let's see, got another question, and Stephen, obviously, pass on any of the questions that you don't want to answer. But what do you do when it's not other people telling you can't do something? Hold on, say what do you do when it's not other people telling you you can't do something because of your disability, but it's yourself? I find this hard.
It's hard because this answer applies to all of us, whether we're disabled or not, and that is, you're always going to be your own worst enemy. You're always going to be the person who doubts yourself the most. There'll never be a harsher critic on you than you. And in order to quell that, you have to realize that you're only in competition with one person in life, and that's yourself. You have to go out there every day, and you have to realize that little by little, you have to do better than you did before. Realize that you're going to mess up, you're going to hurt people, you're going to disappoint people. And when you do, you have to learn from it so you don't do it again. So, your goal in life shouldn't be to not do things because you're not encouraged. We're all going to feel that discouragement. We're all going to feel like we can't do it. I was talking to Kayla about this the night before I launched it. I was telling her, I don't know that I can do the million again. I don't know that I have it in me to pull that many people again. And she basically told me to knock it off. And that's what you need. Is you need people in your community and in your circle of friends who will remind you when you're being a jerk to yourself.
You spoke to me whenever you're saying like the demon that wakes you up at 4 a.m. in the middle of the morning and tells you that it's going to all fall apart today. Don't even bother getting out of bed.
Hmm.
That's real. Like that happens to all of us. Like somebody mentioned imposter syndrome, right?
Mhm.
That's a thing, but there's things you can do to combat that. Like for me, it's a mantra. It's a word. As soon as that I could feel that little creature starting to poke his head up, I tell it to settle. Like you settle, you sit back down in that existential chair, and you think about what you're about to do. No,
Absolutely.
not allowed.
I mean, Kayla, we've talked about that a couple of times, but I was talking to you a while back saying, like, even when you raised $1 million, and I met friends like you along the way, and that was fantastic, but you still think, oh man, my numbers aren't high enough, or man, I didn't get that sponsorship, or man, my friend got this and I didn't, I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same way in a very different way than I do. It's not about raising the million, it's about whatever your biggest accomplishment is, sometimes it's not quite enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like somebody says, like from Luca, telling Bruno to shut it. Everybody's seen the movie Luca.
Yeah.
Silenzio Bruno. Yeah, absolutely. Silenzio Bruno, that creature in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Wonderful. Well, so I did mention I was going to put you through the paces of some standard questions from inside the actor studio. One of my favorite questions is what is your favorite sound?
Kayla.
The gentleman.
Oh no. I can only think of sounds that I hate. Suddenly I'm like,
We'll
I hate the fire alarms. When the microwave won't shut off. My favorite sound. Do you know what? I think my mom used to sing me a lullaby when I was a kid, and that's what I'm picking as my favorite sound.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Aw.
That's great. Perfect. I love it. Steven, what is your favorite sound?
Favorite sound is probably the sound of a waterfall going over a deep cliff.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of being tranquil and sort of. I'm not a huge nature guy, but that sound just sort of, I don't know, does something calming to me that I can't
Yeah.
even control.
Good. All right. How about what is your favorite word? And it's as long, we try to keep it PG-13 here. I know what my favorite word is, but I can't say it.
No.
No, go for it.
No. I think my bosses are watching. So
Kayla's favorite word is murder. That's her
Yeah,
favorite.
that's the
Murder.
one actually.
Murder.
Is that someone in chat said Motherlode? That's the money cheat in The Sims.
Perfect.
That's my final answer. Lock it in.
That's your word.
Yep.
Motherlode? Okay. I love it.
I think it's funny. I was thinking of that the other day. I think my most overused word is absolutely. I will say a
I
lot.
do that too.
Yeah. I would actually be scared if you would search the word absolutely in our text messages, Caleb. There's probably like 100,000 entries. Ugh.
I love it. No, that's fantastic. Okay, what is your? I mean, Kayla, you mentioned this, but what like your least favorite sound? But what's your least favorite word? Is there words? Some people don't like certain words. Like it just like
it's like
triggers
those words
them.
like moist and stuff that you just can't listen to it. Oh, I could probably list off like 10. I think that moist is probably the one that everybody thinks, though, right? It's just those.
I think of a piece of cake or like a cookie or something.
I don't know. It just feels like. I was gonna say, I just said it in chat too. I was gonna say, I think the other one is like squelch or like some of those like, squelchy.
Squelch?
Is a bad word.
Just
Really?
squelch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Steven.
Okay, soapbox time. Normal. Normal is a dishwasher setting. None of us are normal. We're all unique individuals, not a freaking setting on a dishwasher. There is nobody out there who is, quote, normal, and anyone who tries to compare you to being normal is full of themselves.
That's something that we say in our house, and I often tell my son that he's weird, and he says, "Thank you. That's a compliment." And I'm like, "All right, fine.
Nice.
I'm doing something right." Absolutely. Okay, so we kind of touched on a little bit, but we talked about like what would you tell like future family and friends listening to this conversation? What advice or wisdom would you give them? We're gonna put it back on both of you. What would you tell like a young Steven or a young Kayla that you need to know, that you think that's imperative for them to know today? Kayla, we know that Steven's not going to go first, so Kayla.
I always look back on like when I was younger, and I was struggling a lot with my mental health when I was a kid, and I really didn't understand that. Like when I was especially really young, like I didn't know that I was having panic attacks or what that meant. Like I thought I was like dying all the time, and I wish that I could go back and like explain those things more to my younger self and like talk about how that's okay and like you're gonna be okay and it gets easier as you get older. Like I wish that I could explain that to my past self more.
So
that's a good
that's
one.
amazing. It's amazing. Steven?
So about one of my on episode 13. So I started doing a podcast on YouTube not long ago, which I have to get Kayla on one of these days.
Yes.
But okay, I didn't even ask. She already said yes. All right.
I'm inviting myself.
All right, I'll take it. But it's all about mental health and basically asking questions of people who are thinking about things exactly like inside the actor's studio, and that's one of the things that we've got to talk a lot about is mental health. And so there's a series I've been wanting to do forever, but I'm not sure how big the audience would be. But I would have loved to have done one that is dear angry young disabled guy, and it's just being a letter to myself because there's so many things that along the way that I've realized that I was just so young and so angry at the world all the time because being disabled isn't fair and life isn't fair, and I didn't understand that when I was younger. I just wanted the world to be fair, and I thought you could grow up and you could be a good person and the world would just reward you for that, and it doesn't, not at all. So you have to be your own best self advocate. So if I was to go back and talk to myself when I was younger, I would be like, stop putting all this energy into being arrogant and angry at the world and focus it better on being an advocate for yourself and learn how to set boundaries, learn how to choose your friends better, learn how to not people chase, but allow people to choose you as part of their family, and have that sort of love be your guide, and instead of being in a world where you're playing by the world's rules, change the world rules to be yours.
Right. Awesome. That's amazing. I want to shift gears just a little bit because there's
I
something.
love the expression on Kayla's face, like that's why I won on that podcast. So
Yeah, no, well, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch on something that we're just not fundraisers here. Like Steven, you're a writer. You give speeches. You do so much. You're not just this monolith activist for disabled folks. You have so much more. You mentioned your podcast. I know you've done a considerable amount of writing. What is the podcast so that folks can find it? I know that it's relatively new. Is that correct?
yeah, it's only been going for a couple of months now. It's called My Name Is, and I essentially pull people on and do My Name Is like it'd be My Name Is Kayla. And so every time I change the name to the guest, and it's all about letting people have a view into the creators that they love. Because the thing is, and Kayla, you can attest to this. Like every interview you do, it's the same 12 questions every single
Yeah.
time. So what if you did a podcast where you don't ask those 12 questions, but all the other questions? And that's sort of where that came from.
That's amazing. What about some of the writing that you've done? I think I read somewhere that you submitted a novel to some sort of contest. What is that about?
I did publish my first novel, and it's not super great, so I don't plug it anywhere. But it's
All right, fine.
listen, I appreciate the chance for the plug, but it's for me, my writing, my most proud achievement in writing is for any of you out there um who have ever seen John Green's The Fault Among Our Stars. I did a post called Your Last Good Day, and it's all about the day that I lost the ability to drive my wheelchair and how that would affect my independence for the rest of my life, and how on that single day I realized that every day I had before that was a good day. And I just wasn't realizing it. I wasn't appreciating that. And I kind of just carried that to its logical conclusion that we all have our last good days. We all have, today could be a great day because tomorrow you could wake up and your back might not work and you didn't realize today was a good day. And that's kind of that theory, is that you never know when your last good day is going to come until it's gone.
Absolutely. It is a phenomenal post, phenomenal piece of writing. I do love that post, Steven. So thank you for
Thanks.
writing it. So Kayla, what do people not know about you? I mean, aside, I do want to plug your shop. It's Lilsimsie's shop.
Lilsimsieshop.com. Yeah, it's my new merch store.
So I think that there's you have a hoodie and a shirt that says sensitive on it. And I think that it's so honest, but so it feels like, I don't want to say on brand because that feels like a little bit weird, but it feels like that is a part of who you are, like sensitive. And so many of your community, I can tell they're right there with you. Like they're sensitive and that they just align with that. Tell us a little bit about the shop and like what inspired you to create a line of clothing.
Well, I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And then I had a couple of, I think, really good ideas for things. So we just made it. And I think it's going pretty well. Like you said, the sensitive hoodie. And we also have like some simulation gaming club type t-shirts and stuff. So it's things that I really like. And I hope that other people like them too.
No, it's fantastic. Absolutely. So do check out Lilsimsieshop.com. I love how the community is getting around from being able to post links.
I know.
That's one. If we could get somebody to drop that link, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. But no, absolutely amazing.
Buy her stuff, y'all. Buy it.
Absolutely. No.
Thanks for the plug.
No, it resonates. It resonates. This has been so much fun. And Steven, it's been I'm so glad we finally been able to connect and chat over the years of being in like circles. This is an absolute honor. Kayla, you are a fundraising titan, but you are like really like $900,000 in a couple of years is no small feat, and your heart is big, and I can see it reflected in the community who you've brought with us today.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Everybody, follow these two amazing folks on social media. I saw somebody say we need to hear a daily affirmation from Steven each day. Just follow his Twitter. Like,
honestly.
Now, to this point, like you will get the jokes that may not be what you expect, but you'll also get the affirmations. You'll get the nightly questions. You'll be inspired by the nightly question, not just from Steven, but from all his friends and followers as well. Of course, go to Able Gamers, or use the Able Gamers command. Follow, help Spawn together reach that $1 million goal. I'm with Steven's, group of friends who and Kayla saying we're just gonna absolutely blow it out of the water before the end of the year.
This year, 100%.
I'm so excited. It's gonna happen. I see it. Like you called like the greatest heroes of the realm, Steven.
I did.
You literally did.
Chose my champions wisely. There's a reason. There's a reason that Kayla's fire is bigger than mine. There's a no, and since we are wrapping, I do want to say, and with your permission, Kayla, I'd definitely like to say this from both of us. Please, if you're out there and you want to fundraise, go underneath Kayla's campaign. You can go underneath the Spawn. It doesn't matter. It all goes to the same charity. But honestly, the thing that breaks my heart the most is when, and I've seen them tweet at Kayla, I've seen them tweet at me, I'm only going to raise $5. There's no point in me doing this. What should I do anyway? And it's easy, especially, and I'm going to call out Tiltify here. It's easy because you're like, oh man, Tiltify is doing this because they get a cut of it. They do, because they have to continue to exist. They have bills they have to pay, and they do get a small cut of the fundraising platform. But take that out of it. Don't think of this as, man, Tiltify is only promoting them because they get money. Tiltify is promoting it because they are doing good and letting charities get funding from streamers like Kayla that are so amazing, but also from you. They get $5 at a time from you times 10,000 is $50,000. Honestly, that's why Kayla and I are doing this, because each and every one of you combined forces can do some great good for the world. $5 at a time. Do not be intimidated by how much money Kayla can raise or how much money I raise. It all is only because of you.
Absolutely. Well spoken and perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Steven. That's a great way to kind of close out our conversation today. Again, thank you both so much for being our guest. Appreciate this time. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too.
Yeah,
everybody in chat. I'm going to have our friends at the control choose someone to send all this love to, another amazing Tiltify hero. if you are in the wings, let's find somebody real quick. Who's on? Let's see who's a cool person who could use some love. Hold on one second. Let me see if
Lilsimsie, Lilsi.
is she streaming right now though? I don't think so.
Hang on, I'll go live really fast.
Like you need the bump in numbers. Come on. Numbers don't matter.
Okay.
Here, let's see who is going on. Here, maybe my team has somebody that they can suggest. If you're listening, Jambo's on.
Is Jambo live?
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead and make that happen. Make that happen. Let's make Jambo happen.
Heck yeah.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Nice.
The raid is happening, and we have the raid command, raid message. See, this is why I don't do this. I'm not good at this, but let's face their.
Love from Kayla and Steve.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, there it is. We got Tiltify raid. There we go. Thank you. The raid command. There we go. Perfect. All right.
All right. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thanks for having us. This has been really fun.
Thank you, chats. We'll see you. Go, everyone. Go and be good. All right. We're going to switch this off. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.